Hi, thanks for checking out one of our videos here. This is going to be, I think this is an S17 circuit board inside here, or an S20 or S50. It's one of those three, I think. And there's customer's note. And there's the circuit board. It is an S17 circuit board out of a Gallagher S17. So we're gonna, most of the trouble with the S17s lies in the boards. I mean, the solar panels are pretty reliable. Batteries got to change every 2 to 5 years, depending on how well you keep them charged up in the off season and stuff. But this is an older, unit. This is a 2000. Based on the serial number, I don't know how old the unit is because I don't have the unit. All I have is the board. But sometimes the sticker will be on the back side somewhere. But later on, they put the sticker on top, which really helped out with knowing how old it was. But look at the serial number, the 2A0397. That number is just a product code batch number thing for the whole board. It's not the part number for the whole board. Some kind of Gallagher New Zealand number. It has nothing to do with the part number of a particular board or whatever. But you look at the long number there, the zero, usually starts with a 0 or a 1, or sometimes a 9 if it's really old. But 0, the first 2 digits is the year it was built, so 08. And the next, the third and fourth number, 45, is a week of that year. And if you really want to know, the fifth number, the number 3, that is the day of that week. So this board was manufactured on the 3rd day of the 45th week of 2008 is when this board was assembled and put together and stuff. And Gallagher does a good job. I mean, they make their own transformers in-house. These aren't an off-the-shelf part. They have a whole division into plastic molding, R&D, engineer guys, all that stuff. And they build all their transformers in-house, and they assemble all their boards themselves. So they don't outsource anything to anybody, really. They make the plastic cases, the boards, the transformers, a lot of the stuff they build themselves in-house. So I like that because then it keeps, then okay, where's the problem? Is it with the is the company that's built that makes the unit like Gallagher, or is it the company that built the board for Gallagher? Well, Gallagher does all that themselves. It's not like Parmak and Cyclops and other places. They have the boards built by somebody, who knows who, somebody, and then they send those boards to them. Then they put those boards into their units. Gallagher builds the transformers and everything themselves, which is nice because all the quality control is done by them directly, not by somebody else. So if there's a problem somewhere with one of their units, trying to get the cord here. If there's a problem with the unit, and Gallagher sees an uptick in failures of a certain whatever, they go to themselves and say, hey, why is this board going bad? Or why is it doing this? Why is it doing that? What's causing the issue? So then they go back and they fix it. So we're gonna test this unit. I'm gonna hook up my power supply. I got about 6.5 volts running to it. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Clicking and flashing. No spark jumping from the terminals. Put our tester on there. No reading out of the gauge. All right. So the good thing is it's clicking. If it wasn't clicking, then we'd have other issues. But it is clicking. Sometimes they're real loud, and sometimes they're not. That one was really loud, so that's it tells me something's going on with the transformer. So we're going to desolder and solder on a new transformer to the thing, and we'll see what kind of. Hold on, solder iron's dirty. Clean the tip of it off. And we do offer parts, you know, so if you have a unit that you need help with parts and stuff, get a hold of us. The only brand we cannot sell parts for is Parmak. They've got a liability insurance policy thing that forbids repair places to sell their parts. So you on those, you either have to send it into a place like me or send it into Parmak. That's just their rule. But Gallagher, Power Wizard, what other brands? Stay Fixed, Speed Right, Zariba, places like that. We can sell their parts all day long. Don't sell a lot of parts, but we do sell some from time to time. So pulling all the solder off these 4 solder joints here. So that way we can pull this transformer out here in a second. All right, and this has got 3 Phillips screws holding it in place as well. Yep. Not common to see this, but it happens. Hole right there burned in the coil. That's why it's probably arcing across there inside. That's why it was louder than what it should have been. You can see there's a little bit of residue left over from where it had been arcing. So they don't make this transformer anymore. The red one's been discontinued since about 2013. We've got another transformer here we're going to install on it. Make sure that these tabs are straight. Yeah, it only fits on one way because the holes aren't a perfect square. See, this one's kind of offset off to the side a little bit, so it only fits on there one way. They make another transformer that they used in later versions and the current versions. They were kind of a gray color, and they were a perfect square, but you can only really put them in one way, or it won't work right. So that was the one thing about those. So now we're going to solder this back on. All right. One thing that happened here when we were doing this was one of the solder joints on that corner there popped up, so we're going to put a little reinforcement there so that way we know it doesn't come loose or makes a good connection. And add a jumper wire to it. This doesn't happen that often, but for whatever reason it did this time. Solder that wire to the pin and the leftover little bit of solder joint there. And we're going to run this over to there. I'm going to cut this a little long. No, it didn't matter. That little insulation pulled right off, so no big deal. So now we're going to add a little solder to the end of this. And we're going to Come on. Now, there we go. That's the way that looks. Okay, that looks better. Snip off the extra. All right, let's try this again. All right, we'll put the screws back in it. Put the battery wire back on. See how much quieter it is? It's not arcing on the inside, but it is clicking, which it's supposed to. Turn it off for a second. Hook up the little gauge. $10,000 volts, that little thing. Just short capacitor. This one's done. So luckily we're able to get it going again. You know, a lot cheaper to fix these boards than it is to swap them out for a new one, but sometimes we can fix them and sometimes we can't. But this luckily was all that was wrong with the thing. So that's nice. Well, we're going to call it quits. We're going to call the customer. The only other thing I could do to it if the customer wanted to is we can change this capacitor out to the next size bigger and still be okay with using their same battery and same solar panel and give a little more joules out of this thing. It doesn't cost a whole lot more to do that, but some people don't care about that. They said, oh, it works fine for what we're doing. So we're going to stop it here and get a hold of us sometime. If you need parts or helping with repairs, or you want to send something to us to work on, send it on in. We'll be happy to take a look at it for you. But remember to subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, and we'll see you later.